How do you get out of the matrix? The matrix is all just a mental construct. Now, I know some people want to be completely sovereign. That means they want to cut off absolutely anything to do with paperwork, certificates, blah, blah, blah. Not me, because then you're just fighting the system and the beast, and you're constantly using your energy against the beast. In my way, I constructed that I was basically born a free human being, and that nobody could dictate to me what I could and couldn't do, no matter what paperwork, whatever. And so I decided at a young age to learn all the loopholes, because you see, the elites and the rich basically made the rules, but they also made loopholes for themselves. And those loopholes are actually what can make or break you in the future. So we were all taught, you basically graduate university, you get a job, 9 to 5, you do the whole thing of consume, work, pay off your debt, and you do that till you're 65, and then you retire, and then maybe you get to enjoy your life. Now, I had a medical emergency when I was 21. They thought I had brain cancer, and they gave me 4 months to live. So that kind of set me off on a little bit of why are we here? What's the purpose of life? And I went and I traveled to some of the most remote destinations in the world to try and see how other people live. When I came back to Canada, I was like, I know exactly what I want. I don't want to work an office job. I don't want to do the 9 to 5. I don't want to do the whole buy clothes just to impress people, buy brand new cars just to, seem rich or whatever. I wanted to be completely financially free so that I could do whatever I wanted when I wanted. Now, does it include a lot of planning and hard work? Absolutely. So I started with going to blue collar. So I went from university to an office job that I absolutely hated, wasn't happy, to blue collar work, where I learned skills so you can't even imagine how many skills you will learn by working blue collar jobs, because it allows you to basically build a home from scratch and know everything that you need to know. And if you don't know something, trust me, the guys on site will teach you everything. One thing led to another. I went into the oil patch. Now, the entire time, I made sure that I lived well under my means. That means I told myself that if I ever lost all of my jobs and I had to do a minimum wage job, that I could still survive on that minimum wage. That means I never bought a brand new car. I never bought brand new clothes. Furniture, I would always go on Facebook, or at the time it was Craigslist, because Facebook was just kind of emerging and we didn't have Facebook Marketplace. But I would constantly make sure that what I was buying wasn't brand new, and that I was always living within that minimum wage kind of thing, even though I was making a lot more money working blue collar jobs or whatever. When I was down, like when the oil patch was down, or there weren't any jobs on site, construction, whatever, welding, I would then email either chicken farms or farmhand for help, and I would tell them, hey, listen, I want to learn as much as I can. I'm a hard worker. These are the skills that I have that I've learned from the oil patch and blue collar jobs and on site for construction. Could I get a job for 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, and I will work my ass off in that time, as long as I got to learn as much as I could. Now, I got turned down a lot, but I also did get people who would give me a chance, and that is how I learned how livestock worked in every sense of the way, because you're learning from people that already have those skills. Now, what's really interesting is when you work with larger contractors, you will learn that you should not own your own businesses, but you should get a trust to own your businesses. And then also they will teach you a lot of the loopholes, not just for taxes, but also how to protect yourself against government policies and laws, which trusts are amazing in, especially if you own multiple homes and so forth. So then I went and bought land, and in my head I was like, slowly I will build on that debt free. That means I will buy land, I will try my best to pay that off. And when I was a farmhand and I was working at a chicken farm, I always got a second job as waitressing so that I could save up as much money. Now, one thing I never did is I never really went out. I maybe have gone out like 5 times, like my entire youth. So I was never into the whole going out thing or drinking or partying in any sense of the way. So I didn't really spend my money in that way. And I made sure that I always worked and always learned as many skills as I could. Now, a lot of people along the way told me that I was wasting my life and my education on, blue collar jobs that are kind of looked down upon, until 2020, when my husband and I, thankfully, he was into the same lifestyle of wanting to live off grid and doing everything ourselves self-sufficiently, learning as many skills as we could. He knows how to build a truck and a car like from scratch. So from him, I learned a lot of mechanical things, such as, changing my own brakes, fixing my own rotors, starter, like you name it. I've learned it from him. I can change my own oil. It saves you a huge amount of money, by the way. So that way I never had to rely on mechanics or which are expensive, or buying brand new vehicles and constantly having that sort of debt. That means I could fast track to paying off all of my stuff. And so when 2020 came, a lot of the people that said that I was wasting my time all of a sudden were like, hey, how did you know this would happen? Like, how did you set all of this up? Like, was there anything that kind of told you this? Well, there was a guy that I met on site. He was mid 50s, I would say. When he was 30, he had a bit of a burnout and a mental breakdown from a divorce. He was from Vancouver, and he said that he would never live that city lifestyle again. What he did is he went and bought land up in the Northwest Territories, went into blue collar, and then slowly built a house, like a beautiful log house, over the years. He said it took him 10 years to have everything set up, to learn all the skills that he needed to, because he would go hunting with the guys. He went and got all the courses that he needed to for anything that he required, to live off of grid. And he slowly started to build everything to the point where he only needed to work 1 week out of the year to basically afford everything, such as his taxes, bills, and food that you can't really make yourself, such as coffee, oil, all of that stuff. So what he does is he only works 4 months out of the year, like during the winter when the oil field is super busy, and then he can just sit around or go travel or buy whatever he wants and not have to worry about what society is doing, because society is a huge dumpster fire. And I noticed that when I was younger. So how do you get out of the matrix? Is first you have to wrap your mind around the false teachings and brainwashing. We've been brainwashed our entire lives that there is absolutely no options or ways out of it. It is harder work, and you will have to physically work harder, but mentally it is so much easier, which is why I do all of the videos that I do, trying to get people to really think differently about life, and not just the materialistic things that they're constantly pushing at us as sort of, this is the way to the happiness and happy place, which it is not. Showing off what you have to other people that don't even care about you, to put yourself in debt so that you're a constant slave to the system, is not the way out of the system. But I want to know something. Like, if you guys had a wish that could come true, a snap of a finger, how would you be living your life in the freest form that you can, considering the constructs of the system and the way it has been built against us?